Persians, Greeks, Syrians, Huns, Arabs, Turks, Mongols, Europeans. All these people have at least one attribute in common, and that is they all govern India for a few years to a few centuries. In fact, for most part of its history, India has been governed by foreigners. So, in this video, we will look into the question why foreigners ruled India. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life at the earliest. Essentially, we will look into two questions. Number one, why foreigners invaded India? And number two, why those invasions were successful. We first will introduce the foreigners who ruled India. The first to rule India were the Indo-European people or the Aryans who came to India about 2000 BCE. They displaced the local people called Dravidians and are still there. Most of the Indians today are either Aryans or Dravidians or a mixture of the two races. Persians, who were also Indo-Europeans, came to India about 500 BCE. Greeks, Syrians, Huns, Arabs, Turks ruled India for more than 2 centuries. Mughals, who were part Turks and part Mongols, ruled India for 2.5 centuries. And British ruled India informally for 200 years and formally for about 100 years. Some of the invaders only plundered India. They include Mahmud of Ghazni, Nadir Shah of Persia, and Amir Tamur, also of Persia and Central Asia. Others, like the Mughals, set up lasting states or empires and left a deep impact on Indian culture and civilization. Now, the question why foreigners invaded India. The major reason was the strategic importance of India. Indian subcontinent constituted a large landmass in Asia. It comprised the current states of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan. India or Indian subcontinent, as you can see in this map, was situated between two great empires. To the west was the Persian Empire and to the east was the Chinese Empire. The country remained at crossroads of trade routes between east and west, including the famous Silk Route or Silk Road, which connected China with Europe. The strategic location along the Indus River allowed India to develop a thriving trade network with other civilizations in Mesopotamia and Persian Gulf. Mauryan and Mughal empires' strategic location made India a hub for trade, diplomacy, and military campaigns, which foreigners wanted to use. Number two factor was the enormous wealth of India. Two of the greatest symbols of this wealth are number one, the Kohinoor diamond, which currently adorns the crown of the British monarch, and the Takht-e-Taus or the peacock throne, which Nadir Shah carried away during his invasion of India. India, since antiquity, held a large share in the global economy. Ancient India under the Guptas constituted 1/3 of global economy. The medieval India accounted for 1/4 of global wealth. During the Mughal period, India became the world's largest economy. Climate, abundance of water, fertile land, and implements made for growth of farming in India. India was rich in primary and manufactured products, including spices, wheat, rice, fabrics, and precious stones, which were a great attraction for the foreigners. India's huge market and raw materials attracted Europeans. The British first entered India for trade in 1608 through the East India Company. Now we look into the second question, why foreign invaders were successful. The major reason was the massive size of India, which made it difficult for one dynasty or ruler to rule the entire country. Therefore, the country was divided into hundreds of empires, hundreds of kingdoms, smalls and bigs, which mostly were at war with each other. So these internal discords prompted Indians from time to time to encourage or invite foreigners to attack India. For example, in his battle against the King Polus, Alexander the Great was held by Texela's ruler. The governors of Punjab and Sindh invited Zahiruddin Babur to help them overthrow Sultan Ibrahim Lodi in 1526 and lay the foundation of the Mughal Empire. In the third battle of Panipat, which was fought between Marathas and Afghans, the Afghans were supported by key Indian allies. Indian resistance to British was piecemeal, never united. Here are three major examples. The Battle of Plassey 1757, which consolidated British influence in India, the Mysore Wars of 1790s, and the 1857 War of Independence, after which India was formally taken over by the British government. In the declining phase of Mughals, India was divided into over 1000 kingdoms. The second factor was the religious factor. India, as you all know, has been remarkable for its religious diversity, but at times religious divisions have weakened the empire or the state. For example, during Arab invasion of Sindh, they were helped by Buddhist minority against ruling and majority Hindus led by Raja Dahir. Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb's religious bigotry weakened empire and made it vulnerable to attack from outside. Rise of Sikhs and Marathas in the 18th century further weakened the Mughal Empire. The third was the military factor. Take, for example, the battle tactics of the foreigners. For example, Alexander the Great's troops stunned King Polus by crossing the Jhelum river in pouring rain, and this tactics proved decisive in the victory of the Greeks. In the first battle of Panipat, Babur used what is called the Ottoman device, which gave rival troops only narrow space to attack and defeated the Lodi dynasty. Indians generally used elephants against the horses. The elephants were easy to provoke and during stampede killed hundreds of their own soldiers. The 18th and 19th century Europe saw rapid economic and technological growth on the back of the Industrial Revolution. European warfare was also revolutionized with the development of military industry. India, however, failed to keep pace with European economic and industrial development. European warfare techniques and weapons were much superior to Indians, which contributed to their victory. I hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life. Thanks for your time.